Welcome to Donald's Studies in Bible Exegesis and Theology. We've been looking at the Roman emperors, and on the last occasion we looked at some aspects of Hadrian's rule with respect to his attitudes towards the Jews in Jerusalem and towards Christians. On this occasion I want to just finish off with Hadrian's Wall here in Britain. There is a biblical relevance in considering the Romans coming to Britain. They first came with Julius Caesar, who came across twice in 55 and 54 BC with his Roman legions into the southern part of Britain. But the general conquest of the southern part of Britain is associated with the Emperor Claudius. And you may remember he is mentioned in the Bible in the Acts of the Apostles. This was in the year 43 AD, and he sent some of his men northwards, and they reached what was known in those days as Caledonia, but which is known nowadays as Scotland. However, they did not subdue the Scots. The Romans extended their territory northward over the following decades, and the limit of the Roman conquest was at what is known as the Stane Gate Stone Road, which was roughly the border between Scotland and England. The point to be noted here is that the British Isles were known to the Romans in the time of the Apostle Paul, and Eusebius refers to these isles in his writings. It is not impossible that the Apostle Paul visited the British Isles, and there is documentary evidence with regard to this, which satisfies me at any rate. So it is possible and even probable that the Apostle Paul, after he was in Spain, visited the British Isles and left his mark in these islands here. Hadrian made his first big tour of his empire and came to Britain, and it's very likely that at that time he authorised the building of Hadrian's Wall. It is likely to be on this visit that he began the project to build Hadrian's Wall, which took 14 years, almost the whole length of his own time as emperor, roughly from 122 to 136 AD. It took 3 legions of Roman soldiers to build this wall. The purpose of it was to stop the marauding Picts in Scotland invading into the Roman territory. There were 16 forts. What this means is that Scotland was never considered to be part of the Roman Empire, and although the Roman armies invaded Scotland several times and they've even defeated the northern tribes a few times, but it never controlled Scotland. And this is usually considered to be a source of pride amongst the Scots, that they were never subdued by the Romans. However, there is another way of looking at this. There were others in the northern regions who were not subdued by the Romans, and I'm thinking here of the Scandinavians. And there's something in common between the Scandinavians and the Scots, and that is that wherever the Roman Empire went, they brought the rule of law, they built towns, they built roads, they brought literacy, and they brought Christianity in its wake. The Scots missed out on that, and so did the Scandinavians. So you can judge for yourself whether it was a good thing to hold out against the Roman law, and some historians are of the view that it just kept back progress. It might be of interest that some of you may know the story of King Canute, who is mistakenly reported as trying to hold back the tides. The story is in fact the other way around, that he began as a Viking and he came to England and he ended up as a Christian king buried in Winchester Cathedral in England dying as Canute the Great. And the story is that he wanted to prove that he could not hold back the tide. And so he demonstrated that his powers were limited. The point being that when the Scandinavian king became a Christian, that things changed, both for Scandinavia and for himself, and he became very central, not only as the King of England, but he was also the King of the Western Isles, of Orkney and Shetland, of Norway and Sweden, and he was a European figure by the time he was finished. So that holding out against Christianity is not something that we should be particularly proud about, and that the gospel of Jesus Christ brings liberty not only to the soul, but liberty to any particular people that will embrace the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. So, until the next time, take care and God bless you.